and welcome back to Sundays in the Garden. I hope you've all had a brilliant week. It's really turning a lot colder here now. I wonder what the weather's like where you are. Let me know in the comments. I am making sure I'm keeping the bird water topped up because it keeps freezing over each morning, and keeping an eye on my broad beans, which are now poking through, and all of my other things that are growing outside at the moment to make sure that they are okay, and covering them up when needed. If you're new here, my name is Sarah and I share all of the things I get up to in my English cottage style garden in the United Kingdom. I grow fruit and veg in my allotment area and flowers in the rest of the garden. Getting better with my flowers. I used to be predominantly fruit and veg, and I'm kind of getting more and more into my flowers, my roses in particular and dahlias in particular now. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I would love to have you subscribe so you can follow along with all of the plans that I've got in the garden this year. In today's episode, I'm going to talk you through the seeds I'm sowing in the month of January, because we can actually be growing things this month. So that's brilliant for us keen gardeners who struggled not to chomp at the bit to get going with something. So I've got a few things that I'm going to be planting this month, and I'll talk you through them now. First of all, I have some rocket here, which can be sown indoors all year round. It's just one of those lovely staples, a strong source of vitamin C. Eating it when they're nice and small, the leaves are really, really beautiful with a nice strong peppery flavour, and really, really easy to grow. So this is the first thing I'm going to be sowing indoors. Then in addition, I am going to be starting my aubergines. This is the variety I've got here, the aubergines this month. In general, it's tended to be started in February or March, but I've always started them in March, and I never have much luck because they always get to just being the right sort of size plants with the baby aubergines on right at the end of the season when things are getting colder again. So I just miss out on the harvest of aubergines, and we eat a lot of aubergines in our house. We have a recipe for a kind of Mediterranean pasta dish which we use aubergine for, and I really want to grow our own. So this year I'm going to start early. I'm probably going to plant in January and in February and in March and see how I get on. So I've seen on the internet people saying that beginning to grow your aubergine in January is actually fine if you've got them inside. So I'll start them off inside, take them out to the greenhouse when they're a little bigger, and they'll probably stay in the greenhouse in a container. So that's my aubergine. Also something to be starting, another thing to be starting this month is your sweet peas. If you like growing sweet peas like me, then you can start them off from now inside to get a head start on them. I will probably again sow these sequentially throughout the next few months, just so that I make sure I've got a supply throughout. So sweet peas, get on with those as well. And in terms of herbs, there are obviously herbs that you can grow all year round, particularly inside. Lots of people like to have herbs on their windowsill because it's nice and easy in the kitchen just to grab those herbs from their pots and pop them straight into your cooking. So things that I'm going to be growing inside this year again are some herbs, some coriander, which I've got this one here, and it will grow on the windowsill, but I will also be growing some in a couple of months' time outside in the greenhouse to pop into my garden. I am going to be growing some oregano, again on the windowsill initially, but I would also like to have some in my herb garden outside. I used to have some, but the plant has now, it kind of got too leggy and bolted, and so I'm going to plant some new one in a herb garden that I'm creating this year, so that'll be a video for later on in the season. Another one we can plant this month in January is basil. So if you want to, I have to say it like that, that's like the Faulty Towers, isn't it? Basil. I'm going to plant some basil for the windowsill again in the kitchen, and then in a few months' time out into the garden. And garden cress, a lovely one for salads throughout the year, and again you can have that on the windowsill. The children really enjoy that. You can even grow it to look like the hair, you know, to make a little funny cress grower or something like that. So cress is a great one for this time of year, beautiful in salads, lovely and healthy, and super easy to grow at any time. Then this one I'm not sure about. I would like your advice on this one. Here we've got some cucumber. Let me show you there. So on the back here for this cucumber, it says it can be sown indoors from February. So obviously end of January is not very far away from February. And I always think, again, these are one of those plants that takes a long time to get going. So I'd be interested to find out if anyone has any success with growing them from January. I'm going to give it a go this time, but this is more of an experimental one to see how I get on. let me know if you have had success growing cucumbers from January. Packet says from February, so I will again repeat so in February as well, but let's see how we get on with those. Lettuce, I have got some lettuce growing in the greenhouse at the moment. So lettuce can grow all year round if it's inside. So I've got some lettuce plants, lettuce seeds rather here, which I'm going to plant so I can keep those lettuces going. And I've been enjoying the lettuce in the greenhouse with some salads and things all through the winter. So that's been brilliant. So that's one that you can have going all the time. Another one that's important to get started soon if you would like to have onions this year are onion seeds. So some people plant onion sets, and I have got some onion growing in the garden at the moment that I planted from sets in, I think it was September or October. But these are seeds, so if you want to be growing from seed, it is now about the time between now and April that you're going to be planting these inside to start them off. So you've got some nice large sets to be growing with later in the season. Also, leeks, these take a long time to get started, or they can take a long time to get started. And if you would like some leeks, sorry, that's not clear. If you'd like some leeks to be eating earlier in the winter or into the autumn and winter, then planting them now means that you can be harvesting them in October time rather than the ones I've got going at the moment. I put out much later, so they will be harvested later in the season. The final seeds I've got for you this month to be growing are your broad beans. Now, I had a comment on my video last week about broad beans saying, oh, broad beans, this is not a good time to be planting them, surely. Not traditionally, no. But you can get broad beans that are winter hardy. Most broad beans are pretty winter hardy, but you can get varieties that are kind of bred specifically to be planted over the winter period. So the Bunyards, the Unwin's Bunyards exhibition broad beans can be planted if you get the correct variety between November and January. So if you can get your hands on some of those and you haven't yet planted your broad beans, then you can in January. My broad beans actually were planted in, I think, November or early December. I have to check out my previous videos because I did a video on it. So end of November or December, and they are coming through beautifully now. I've got some lovely shoots. So that proves that they can germinate, and apparently they're hardy down to -10 to -15. So they actually don't get affected by very cold temperatures, and they can germinate anywhere from about ground temperature 1 degree. So that's amazing. They're really hardy little plants. So if you would like to have some lovely beans, probably in about April, May time, then you can be putting in some broad beans now. Just keep an eye on exactly when you're planting them. I wouldn't recommend planting them when we've got a hard frost and the ground is cold, and you can start them off inside and then transfer them out. So that concludes the seeds I'm going to be planting in January. Let me know in the comments what you're planting this month. If I've missed anything, please let me know. I always am happy to try new things and love learning what you guys are planting. If there's anything you think I'm planting that I shouldn't be, then let me know as well. Hope you all have a wonderful Sunday in your gardens, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye!